Good evening, welcome back to In the Khud. This is 9th May 2023, 7:08 pm, and I'm trying to do things a little different for this episode because I feel it is important to address one particular thing in life right now. A few episodes back, I don't know, I think it was when I was trying to do the what was that challenge by Punisher, Endless Engines, right? And I was discussing this idea heavily of the Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavad Gita talks about Sthita Prajna, the one with steady wisdom. A huge point of the teaching of Shri Krishna to Arjuna is that life is about being extremely calm and poised and in control amidst tremendous activity. So it is not about you go and you hide somewhere in a cave, or you detach yourself like the traditional renunciation of giving the worldly life up and then you go and meditate and you find God. That's not what this life is about. This life is about, as Swami Vivekananda would put it, tremendous activity, crazy amount of activity. But amidst all of that activity, you stay calm and you stay composed. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up again for this episode is because yesterday night when I went to the gym, I could feel like my head circling so fast because my days nowadays are going so heavy with the amount of activity that I'm doing with the full-time job and my own 3D work, and I'll get to that as well. Every single minute of life is stacked up like crazy, and I'm not complaining. This is exactly what I would dream of like a couple of years back, to have so much work stacked up one after the other that I do not have to think about what has to be done next. I'm not just having work to do one after the other. It is something that I'm constantly growing in and learning from. So it's just good to sometimes take the time and acknowledge the fact that things have been very great, and I'm super grateful for how things are panning out. Having said that, there is two things that I have to document today. One big thing is that my first ever animated short I am making through the NLA editor, and I spent the entire day in the NLA. And yes, the NLA is not the most intuitive animation tool that is out there, but that's only at the beginning. Once you get a hang of it, things start to get a lot nicer, and I'm at that stage currently where things have started to get nicer. So I'm just gonna play this little thing that I have done so far, and I'm then gonna go through the learnings and everything that have happened today. So on the left you see your camera view. It's in material preview right now. So we have our protagonist Ahana, who's sitting at the laptop. She's supposed to be doing the clicking action, but for some reason that's not happening. From here she stands up. Oh my god, what happened? And then she apparently walks inside the frame. That's what happens. From here she walks up until here. And this, if I was to just put it to hold forward, that should still work. And then this has to be hold forward. Yeah. So here's where we are at. And you see everything here has been divided into an NLA strip. At the bottom we have Ahana sitting on a chair. Then we have Ahana's sleepy head. This entire action is a sleepy head. Then there is blink. If you see closely, there is a blink action which can be repeated how many ever times you want. There is, what is this? This is the spacebar thing. It's not happening at the right place. I have to fix that. Then we again have a sleepy head and then a blink. And then Ahana hands push chair. This is an action where the hands come here. Like if I was to show it properly, what is exactly happening here. In this action, the hands come here and they come and they push here, both of them. She pushes herself ahead, and there's some weird thing happening with the IK. I think there's one extra keyframe in between. And she stands up. Okay. My only problem here is, if you see throughout the video, she has a very dead expression on her face. Like I have to make this a little more lively. And then over here we have a normal walk cycle. This is a walk cycle, and this is a movement, where in this movement action I am affecting keyframes onto the root bone, and over here it is a normal walk cycle in IK legs and FK arms. And then here I have to like again continue from here. Now one amazing thing that I learned today is you can have a walk cycle, but instead of doing it in terms of a cycle, what you can do is you can do it in a unique way where you actually get to see how the walk will look. So and this is the beauty of the NLA. is I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna unhide this, make it disable it, and over here on this track I want to add another action, and let's just say it on a walk cycle 3. Okay, and I'm just gonna make it fake user. So the way you're gonna do this is, in this action I'm gonna start from here. So you see, you are gonna get this kind of cardio movement right from the start, which is nice. And I'm gonna come in here into my action. I'm at 246 frames currently. I'm gonna select my armature in pose mode with A all selected. Firstly, I'm gonna see if I have all the layers I need. So I need arms in FK. Okay, and I will have to mention that. So I'll just keep IK on for the moment. I can go to these cogwheel things here. This is a Rigify rig, by the way. This cogwheel things here, and you have to specify that it's an IK. So IK 0, that means it's an IK. Hands have to be in FK. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bring this into FK. But before that, what I can do is I can snap the current IK to FK, and then so it's in the position of that, and then I can bring it to FK and give it a keyframe. This keyframe giving is important when you are switching into switching in between two actions, one which is in IK and one which is in FK. Again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to snap the IK that we have to FK. Okay, snapping IK to FK, and we're going to make this FK. So I here. Okay, now the arms are in FK. I can come in here and switch off my IK controls. I am not going to do the torso because this is like a very, very simple walk cycle, just to show you, illustrate a point. Alt R, Alt G, and yeah, it's still moving the way it should. The only thing is I will have to need the torso, and I'm gonna Alt R this, Alt G. Yeah, so this is like a standard standing A pose. From here I want to do the walk cycle at 24 frames per second. So I'm gonna come into my current frame and I'm gonna add plus 24 to it, and I'm gonna Shift D the first contact pose over here. Okay, actually let me just make the contact pose first, and I'm not trying to make it perfect, it's just very, very rough at the moment. So I'm gonna come in here because I want to make this like not like 30-minute long. It's already gonna be a 20-minute long video. Okay, so this is here, and let's say we're starting with this like forward, and take the pole control, bring it down so the legs are a little bent, not the torso, this thing, and I'm going to take this one like behind. Okay, I'm trying to make the contact pose. This I'm going to rotate it up, and this we're going to rotate it behind. This toe controller here. Okay, so let's say that's your contact pose with the leg, and spacing here is a little too much. From the front as well, you want to check if it works. Now the arms are in FK. What you can do is you can come in here to tool and enable X-ray mirror, X-axis mirror, and in global I'm going to bring the arms down and disable this. Now this here, this arm is going to be behind because this corresponding leg is forward, and this is going to be forward, which is fine. So this is like my very basic contact pose to begin with. I'm going to copy this, and so first go to 24 frames ahead. With Blender you don't have to worry about calculation, you can just type operations inside the panels. Right, and here I'm going to add 12. So this I'm going to come in here, copy this and say Control Shift V, and so from here to here you're going to have a walk cycle. But the difference is this walk cycle is not in place, it's actually moving somewhere. So you get a little more sort of feedback as to how the cycle is looking and how long the steps are, if you want to make the steps a little shorter or longer or whatever. And then I'm just gonna add, for the sake of making this a complete thing, I'm gonna add a passing pose at 253. So the front leg will be straight. I'm gonna select this. And this will be altered. Why is it rotated like this? Okay. And then this straight, and this is a passing pose. So this I'm gonna take it up and just a little. And we have auto keying on, by the way. This is very important. Otherwise, who will remember location, rotation, eye so many times? So this is like a normal passing pose, and here I'm gonna make another passing pose where this one will be in the air and this one will be straight. Alt R, this one Alt R, so it's on floor. This is here, and this is the passing pose now. This is the passing pose, so this will be straightened. Okay, so now this is a walk cycle with the advantage that you're actually moving towards where you want to go. Okay, so yeah, this is just one thing that I wanted to document. Other than that, for Premiere Pro, there's one awesome thing that I learned today, and I don't know, I didn't know this earlier. I used to always play with the speed of audio inside Premiere, but apparently you can change the audio of like voiceover or anything, like something, a dialogue that is being said, and at the same time maintain its pitch, which is amazing. So I'm just going to take one sort of example. This I have rendered it out, so let me make a duplicate of this. So here the original dialogue is like this.
I don't know, I'm still trying to track it.
Alright, and this is the audio that was provided to me that has to fit onto it.
No, you're late. I don't know, I'm still trying to track it.
Look how slow it is. Like if I bring this here, drag it here, and if you see waveform wise, the dialogue layer, the audio one, can you see my screen? Yeah, you can. Most of it, yes. So the audio one, this is how long the dialogue is. It's like getting over within this time frame. And our dialogue starts from here and then goes till here.
I don't know, I'm still trying to track it. Where should I?
Okay. So what you do is I'm going to take my rate stretch tool. I don't know where it is, but I just have a shortcut called R, and I'm going to drag it and drop till here. Let me just solo this. So by default, this is how it's going to play.
I don't know, I'm still trying to track it.
Like some cartoony hydrogen or halogen effect.
No, I'm still trying to track it.
Halogen? Helium effect.
I don't know, I'm still trying to track it.
Okay. So you just press Ctrl R, and there's this thing called maintain audio pitch.
I don't know, I'm still trying to track it.
That is just that. That is so easy. And yes, my mind was blown that there is just one checkbox that I have to check, and that will solve the problem. So that was one amazing thing. In the NLA, the placement of strips, vertical hierarchy plays a very important role. Important learning when making animations. Layering, it is important for playback to be on frame dropping, because it did the entire animation with playback as a real, like, frame dropping. Play every frame, and that is very deceiving because at the top you see it is playing at 7 or 8 frames per second or something like that. Now the way I'm fixing this is going to each action, select all keyframes and scale them by 2. Stumble on a very cool way to make a walk cycle. I showed this part. Massive. You can change the speed of audio inside Premiere, and for this the credit is I don't know why it's default Chrome, but this guy Adobe in a minute, he shows this technique. So now one thing I again learned in skiing, set fail to insert any keyframes. If this happens at any point in time and you have auto keying on and you still don't see any keyframes happening, it is because inside the graph editor you have by mistake locked your keyframes. So just check that once. And yeah, we're just under 20 minutes. It's gonna be a bit of a task to get this out, but with that said, where are we? Yeah, it was a handful of things that I had to show, and yeah, I've been making a little bit of progress in the 3D project as well. Nowhere near to like having it done, but I am learning so much through it. And I was also thinking about this fact that editing is not something that I'm going to do. I have said that so many times over and over to myself, but it just keeps coming back to me. So that's like something about the universe where you have to do editing. And the great part is that there is always something that I can learn, and if nothing at all, I can work on my efficiency at least of making the same thing much faster and quicker and stuff like those. Anyway, that's it for today's documentation. Thank you so much for being in the crowd. I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.